Hey Book Dragons, welcome back to my channel. Want to hear about my writing? Thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate all you do to support the channel. As you may or may not know, I am not only a book reader, but I am also a book writer, and I have written a book. I want to talk about where I'm at with my writing, and if this is something that interests you, great. If not, and you don't really care to hear about some of the stuff that I'm writing, feel free to step away. You're not going to hurt my feelings. This channel is primarily devoted to books I am reading. I don't really like using it to promote my writing a whole lot, but every now and again I thought you guys might be curious. So if that is you, stick around and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And you know, whether or not you stick around or not, if you would like to support the channel by slapping a like on the video and subscribing to my channel for future bookish content, that would be awesome. And so here we go. Earlier in 2022, I posted a video talking about some of my writing. It's a bit of an older video and maybe not quite as up to date as I'm going to be giving you today, but it will give you a little window into my writing. To give you kind of a short summary, I write in a universe called Novera. It is a multiverse, so it spans various different time periods and various different universes that are all kind of interconnected together. I know, it's a really popular way to write these days. I'm sure Brandon Sanderson does it much better than I ever will. But hey, I'm trying my hand at it, right? And so yes, I do write in a multiverse, and I have written one book currently. And that book is Talendor's Guest by Charles McGarry. My name is Charles McGarry, if you didn't know that. I don't write under a pen name. I have considered it, but I thought, well, you know, I'd have to rebrand my book and all that kind of stuff. And, Charles McGarry's fine. If you don't like Charles McGarry as an author name and you want to be blunt about it, feel free to tell me in the comments. And, if I get enough people, I may reconsider. But, yeah, as of right now, yeah, this is my first book, Talendor's Guest. It is essentially a book of short stories with a frame story that ties all of them together, and it introduces some characters that you may or may not see again in some of my future books. I write primarily standalone, so Talendor's Guest is a standalone book. You can sit down, enjoy it. You won't really have any cliffhanger endings, although one could argue that the last story kind of has a cliffhanger to it. But you can enjoy it as a standalone novel. And while I may be open to writing sagas in the future, most of the books that I have planned are standalones at this point. Other than Talendor's Guest, I have written chunks of different other stories that I've come up with. Probably at least about 10 different books that I have ideas for that I've either started a significant portion of or are just in the idea stage currently. So that is something that you can look for more information in the future from me if that's something you're interested in. I do have a second book completed called The Nomad's Crucible. That is currently mostly finished. I do have some beta readers looking at it, suggesting some revisions and kind of proofreading for me, things like that, just to give me other sets of eyes on the book that I don't have myself, because it's easier to see your book when others have kind of pointed out things to you. And I really want to make that book the best it can be. It is not like Talendor's Guest at all. It is not a collection of short stories in a Scheherazade fashion with a frame story around it and everything. It is a full-length novel, and it is a science fantasy, emphasis on the fantasy. There are very few science fiction-y elements in it, but it does have a few. So, so it's low science, high fantasy, but it is kind of a blend of the two. So I hope that is something that you think you might be interested in. It is done for the most part. I've still got to make some revisions that the proofreaders and beta readers have suggested to me. I think I want to have a couple more people added to that list to beta read it for me. But other than that, I am just working on getting a book cover. It is going to be a self-published book, so I am working on designing a book cover. So I am working on getting a book cover designed for the book. I do have a couple of people I am talking to currently that I want to get initial mock-ups from to see their work and to see what I think of it, see if it fits what I'm looking for. And the goal for this is to have it out no later than Christmas of 2024. That's my goal. Now, it may not happen. It may not happen. I'm not going to be a George R. R. Martin and keep you guys waiting forever and ever and ever. But I'm also not going to be a Brandon Sanderson and give you 4 books a year. It just... it doesn't happen. You know, I have a life. I have a full-time job. I have a YouTube channel. I have kids. So, yeah, I've got other stuff going on. But the goal for Nomad's Crucible is December of 2024, maybe even November 2024, because I want it to be available for Christmas next year. That would be nice, right? That was a lot. So let's talk about future projects. I do have 2 that I am seriously working on. One features a character from Talendor's Guest. One of the most popular stories in Talendor's Guest is The Ink Master. It is about an arcane tattoo artist who can rewrite the destiny of his patrons. And I do have a full-length novel that will include him as a character. Not the primary character, but he will be a character in the book. So that is something that I am slowly working on, cogitating, ruminating on ideas, how I want to approach it. I've jotted down tons of ideas for it, but it is in the very early stages. So just wanted to put that out there. I also have a novella, which is going to be a prequel to my universe. Essentially, it is going to be the catalyst for the Noviran multiverse. And that is also in the very early stages. I got, let's see, I think I got about 500 words written for it early on this year. I've been in a really heavy writing slump, guys, and, kind of focusing on other passions and stuff. But I really do want to get back to my writing, and so I did write some for that this year. But again, it's in the very early stages. Not a ton happening with it right now. For 2023, if you watched some of my update videos for 2023, you probably heard me mention that I want to get in more writing time in 2023. So, I am making firm goals to make at least 1 day a week my writing day. Yeah, that will take away from my reading time, and I think I'll still be able to get plenty of books read in 2023, but I really want to focus on trying to get back to my writing. I recently repaired my laptop. I made some upgrades to it. I have a really old 2011 MacBook Pro. It was running really slow and stuff like that, and I finally bought some new peripherals for it and upgraded it for way cheaper than I could ever buy a new MacBook Pro for. So it runs really smooth, really nice right now, and I am looking to finally getting back to writing full-time on a fairly regular basis. So I'm going to start out at least 1 day a week. That is my goal, and I'm kind of making this video as a way to put that out there and take ownership of that goal, and also to let you all know so that you can kind of keep me accountable. Hey, Chaz, how's your writing going? That would be cool. Don't make it annoying, right? Don't be bombarding me daily. Hey, Chaz, how's your writing? Hey, Chaz, how's your writing? Hey, Chaz, how's your writing? Keep it reasonable, and we'll be good. So yeah, that is kind of my writing goal for 2023. I want to make significant headway and get some more books out there for you guys. And I'm going to continue self-publishing, I think. That is my goal, at least for right now. I know there's plenty of vanity presses out there and hybrid publishers out there and stuff like that. I don't really think that is a good fit for me, at least not right now. So for the foreseeable future, I will be publishing things under Eccentric Dragon Press. That is my imprint, probably through Amazon for the most part, and probably utilizing Ingram Spark for distributing the books and things like that. So we'll see. That a lot of that's up in the air, so please bear with me as I kind of iron all that out. I kind of got out of the game for a long time, and now I'm starting to wade back in, and the publishing industry right now is just constantly changing, and it's a little bit overwhelming, so please bear with me. I do still have the original novel that I started working on for this multiverse several years back. It's probably 12 years ago now. It needs significant reworking, partly because one of the stories in Talendor's Guest involves characters from that particular world, and I made some changes as I was writing that particular part of Talendor's Guest. So I need to go back and make sure that the original book I started is consistent with that and kind of move forward with that. It needs a lot of retooling. That's not going to come anytime soon, but it will come eventually. That is currently the state of the Noviran multiverse. Now let's talk briefly about some of my other plans, okay? I was asked by some friends if I had plans to create an audiobook for Talendor's Guest. I did not at the time, but these particular friends of mine read almost exclusively audiobooks, and so the fact that my book does not have an audiobook yet is kind of a drawback for them. And if it's a drawback for them, I'm sure it is for a lot of other people. So my plan is to work as hard as I can on getting the audiobook recorded next year. I'm going to record it myself, unless I just find a really smoking deal on a narrator and things like that, which isn't likely as a self-published author. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to record it myself. I was planning to release it through ACX so that I could get it on Audible. I'm still open to other options. Recently, I know that Brandon Sanderson talked about how he is not releasing new audiobooks on Audible for the foreseeable future. And, you know, he's really kind of pushing the market on making more viable options for people who want to release audiobooks. And I think that's great because, you know, Audible does have a monopoly on that market. So it's entirely possible that at some point I might sell the MP3 files myself on a website, which I still need to create a new one if I end up doing that. I'm going to look at various different options for that. If you have suggestions for what you would personally like to see for an audiobook for Talendor's Guest, let me know in the comments below. I would be more than happy to dialogue with you and entertain some of your ideas as well, because, you know, this is new territory for me. I have never done an audiobook. Not to mention the fact that I've never recorded an audiobook. So If you're listening to this video right now and you're like, Chaz, you don't really have the voice for an audiobook, let me know that too. I would really appreciate knowing that, because I don't want to bore people when they read my book if I'm the one narrating it. So just, feedback is always appreciated, as long as it's done with a generous and caring heart. So yes, I would appreciate that. Other things that I am considering, and this is by no means a set in stone plan, but I am considering possibly looking into crowdfunding for future projects. I know Kickstarter has been big, not just for Sanderson. I'm not talking about Sanderson here. I know a lot of self-published friends that have made it big on Kickstarter and done quite well. So Kickstarter, or maybe there's some others out there that you think would be good for that. And this would be for things like hardback editions of my books, specifically Talendor's Guest. I've had requests for hardback editions. So that's something possibly for the future, maybe to help fund cover design and other little add-ons like bookmarks and different things like that. I don't know. It's a whole new world. I'm 47 years old. I'm getting to be an old man, right? So I'm kind of looking at this all, and I'm like, where's my cane? Where's my cane? And where are my dentures? No, I'm kidding. I don't wear dentures. I don't have to walk with a cane, thankfully, not yet. So it's just, all of these new options. I want to stay current with the times. I want to be up to date on all the latest options. And so I am very open-minded to learning everything there is to know about the current changing state of publishing and Kickstarters and things like that. So these are all just random ideas that I've had floating around in my brain. Let me know what you would be interested in seeing from me. I would love to hear your feedback, okay? And that's kind of where I'm at on my writing. I've gone into a lot of detail, although I probably haven't given you any really solid details that you would hope to have gotten. I will probably do a writing update once a year if that's something you're interested in. Let me know in the comments as well if you enjoy hearing about my writing. If you don't, tell me that too, please. If you think I should just keep this my booktube channel and let that be it, fair enough. Let me know that in the comments, okay? I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I really appreciate your support as a booktuber, and I'm excited for what the next year will bring. I will not be actively promoting my book on my YouTube channel. I still am committed to making this about other people's books. But I do always put a link to my books in the description below. If you want to purchase Talendor's Guest, you can. I will do the same for future books that I write. After I've written 2 or 3, I will probably just put a link to my Amazon author page and let that be it. But that's there. But you don't have to worry about me making this all about me, because it's not. This is about other people's books. I just thought you might want to hear a little bit about what I'm doing with my writing. That is all I have to say. I've taken up enough of your time. Comment to me below with all the stuff that you want to talk about. Hit me up on Discord. Join my Discord if you would like to chat more. I may from time to time put more regular updates on my Patreon, so if you would like to support me on Patreon, I may give updates there from time to time that you won't get on my booktube channel. So just putting that out there, okay? I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Make sure you are reading more books. I will talk to you soon.